Today we are going to read the article "The Elements of Value" by Eric Alchemist, John Senior, and Nicholas Bloch. When customers evaluate a product or service, they weigh its perceived value against the asking price. Marketers have generally focused much of their time and energy on making the price side of the equation. Since raising prices can immediately boost profits, but that's the easy part. Pricing usually consists of managing relatively small set of numbers, and pricing analysis and tactics are highly involved. What customers truly evaluate, however, can be difficult to pin down, but and psychologically complicated. How can leadership teams actively manage value or devise ways to deliver more of it? Whether functional, saving time, reducing cost, or emotional, reducing anxiety, providing entertainment, discrete choice analysis, which stimulates demand for different combinations of product features, pricing, and other components. And similar research techniques are powerful and useful tools, but they are designed to test customers' reactions to preconceived concepts of value. The concepts that managers are accustomed to judging. Coming up with new concepts requires anticipating what else people might consider value. The amount of nature of value in a particular product or service always lie in the eyes of the beholder. Of course, yet universal building blocks of value do exist. Creating opportunities for companies to involve their performance in current markets or break into a new ones. A rigorous model of customers' value allows a company to come up with new combinations of value that its products and service could deliver. The right combinations, our analysis shows, pay off in a stronger customers' loyalty, greater customers' willingness to try particular brand, and sustained revenue growth. We have identified 30 elements of value, fundamental attributes in their most essential and discrete forms. These elements fall into four categories: functional, emotional, life changing, and social impact. Some elements are more inwardly focused, primarily addressing customers' personal needs. For example, the life changing element motivation is at the core of Fitbit exercise tracking products. Others are outwardly focused, helping customers interact in or navigate the external world. The functional element organizes in central to the container store and into its turbo tags because both help customers deal with complexities in their role. In our research, we don't accept on its face a customer statement that a certain product attribute is important. Instead, we explored what underlies the statement. For example, when someone says her bank is convenient, its value delivers from some combination of the functional elements, saves time, avoids hassles, simplifies, and reduces effort. And when the owner of a $10,000 Leica talks about the quality of the product and the picture it takes, and underlying life changing elements, is self actualization, arising from the pride of owning a camera that famous photographers have used for a century. The elements of value approach extends Maslow's hierarchy of needs. 3 decades of experience doing customer research and observation for corporate clients lead us to identify these 30 fundamental attributes, which we deliver from scores of quantitative and qualitative customers studies. Many of the studies involved the well-known interviewing technique lettering, which proves customers' initial state preference to identify what's driving them. Our model traces its conceptual roots to the psychologist's Abraham Maslow hierarchy of needs, which was first published in 1943 when a faculty member of Brooklyn College. Maslow argued that human actions arise from an innate desire to fulfill needs ranging from the very basic security, warmth, food, rest to the complex self-esteem, altruism. Almost all marketers today are familiar with Maslow's hierarchy. The elements of value approach extends his insights by focusing on people as customers, as consumers, describing their behavior as it relates to products and services. It might be useful to briefly compare Maslow thinking with our model. Marketers have seen his hierarchy organized in a pyramid, although it was later interpreted not Maslow himself, who expressed his theory that way. At the bottom of the pyramid are psychological and safety needs, and at the top are self actualization and self transcendence. The popular assumption has been that people cannot attain the needs that the top until they have met the ones below. Maslow himself took a more nuanced view, realizing that numerous patterns of fulfillment can exist. For example, rock climbers achieve self-actualization in unwrapped ascents of dozens of feet, ignoring basic safety considerations. Similarly, the elements of value pyramid is a heuristic model, practical rather than theoretical perfect, in which the most powerful forms of value live in the top, at the top. To be able to deliver on those higher order elements, a company must provide at least some of the functional elements required by a particular product category. But many combinations of elements exist in successful products and services today. Most of these elements have been around for centuries and probably longer, although their manifestations have changed over time. Connect Connect was first provided by couriers, bearing messages on foot. Then came the Pony Express, the telegraph, the pneumatic box, the telephone, the internet, email, Instagram, Twitter, and other media sites. The relevance of elements varies according to industry, culture, and demographics. For example, nostalgia or integrate might mean little to subsistence farmers in developing countries, whereas reduces risk and makes money are vital to them. Likewise, through throughout history, self-actualization has been out of reach for most consumers. who were focused on survival, even if they found fulfillment through spiritual or worldly pursuits. But anything that saves time, reduces effort, or reduces cost was praised. Growing revenue. The test whether the elements of value can be tied to company performance, specifically a company's customer relationships and revenue growth. We collaborate with Research Now, an online sampling and data collection company, to survey more than 10,000 US customers about their perception of nearly 50 US based companies. Each respondent scored one company from which he or she had bought a product or service during the previous 6 months. On each element using a 0 to 10 scale, when companies had major branded divisions such as insurance and banking, we conducted separate interviews focusing on those divisions. We then looked at their relationships among these rankings. Each company's net promoter score, a widely used metric for customers' loyalty and advocacy, and the company's recent revenue growth. Our first, our first hypothesis, hypothesis, hypothesis was the companies that perform well on multiple elements of value will have more loyal customers than the rest. The survey confirmed that companies with high scores, defined as an A or above, on four or more elements from at least 50% of respondents, such as Apple, Samsung, USAA, Tom's, and Amazon, had on average three times the NPS of companies with just one high score, and 20 times the NPS of companies with none. More is clearly better, although it's obviously unrealistic to try inject all 30 elements into a product or service. Even a customer powerhouse like Apple. On one of the best performers we studied, scored high on only 11 of the 30 elements. Companies must choose their elements strategically, as we will illustrate. Our second hypothesis was the companies doing well on multiple elements will grow revenue at a faster rate than others. A strong performance on multiple elements does indeed correlate closely with a higher and sustained revenue growth. Companies that score high on four or more elements had recent revenue grown four times greater than, than that of companies with only one high score. The winning companies understand how they stack up against competitors and have methodologically chosen new elements to deliver over time. So most of them did not use our specific framework. Next, we explored whether the elements of value could shed light on the astonishing market share growth of pure play digital retailers. This, too, was confirmed empirically. Amazon, for instance, achieved high scores on A mostly functional elements, illustrating the power of adding value to a core offering. It has chosen product features that closely correspond to those in our model. For example, in creating Amazon Prime in 20, 208, 205, The company initially focused on delivering reduced cost and saves time by providing unlimited 2-day shipping for a flat mm, $79 annual fee. Then it expanded Prime to include streaming media, provides access and fun entertainment, unlimited photo storage on Amazon servers, reduces risk, and other features. Each new element attracted a large group of customers and helped raise Amazon services far above commodity status. Prime has penetrated nearly 40% of the US retail market, and Amazon has become a juggernaut of consumer value that allowed the company to raise Prime's annual fee to $99 in 2015 and 2015, a large price increase by any standard. Patterns of value. To help companies think about managing the value side of the equation more directly, we wanted to understand how the elements translate to successful business performance. Are some of them more important than others? Do companies have to compete at or near the top of the pyramid to be successful? Or can they succeed by excelling on functional elements alone? What value do consumers see in digital versus omnichannel companies? We use our data to identify three patterns, patterns of value creation. Some elements do matter more than others. Across all the industries we study, perceived quality affects customers' advocacy more than any other element. Products and services must attain a certain minimum level, and no other elements can make up for a significant shortfall on this one. After quality, the critical elements depend on the industry. In food and beverage, sensory appeal, not surprisingly, runs a close second. In consumer baking, provides access and heirloom, a good investment for future generations, are the elements that matter. In fact, heirloom is crucial in financial services generally because of the connection between money and inheritance. The broad appeal of smartphones stems from how they deliver multiple elements, including reduces effort, saves time, connects, integrates variety, fun entertainment, provides access, and organizes. Manufacturers of these products, Apple, Samsung, and LG, got some of the highest value ratings across all the companies studied. Which elements are most important? Mm, Consumers perceive digital films as offering more value. Well designed online businesses make many consumer interactions easier and more convenient. Mainly digital companies thus excel on saves time and avoids hasteless. Suppose, for example, score twice as high as traditional appeal competitors did on those two elements and several others. Overall, it achieved a high scores on 8 elements, way ahead of traditional retailers. Netflix outperformed traditional TV service TV service providers with scores 3 times as high on reduced cost, therapeutic value, and nostalgia. Netflix also scored higher than other media providers on Variety, illustrating how effectively it has pursued customers without any objective evidence that it offers more titles. Brick and mortar businesses can still win on certain elements. Omnichannel retailers win on some emotional and life-changing elements. For example, they are twice as likely as online-only retailers to score high on baggage value, attractiveness, and affiliation and belonging customers. Embellishing. Customers who get help from employees in stores give much higher ratings to those retailers. Indeed, emotional elements have probably helped some stores-based retailers stay in business. Moreover, companies that score high on emotional elements tend to have a higher NPS on average. That companies that spike only on functional elements. This finding is consistent with previous Bain analysis showing that digital technologies have been transforming physical businesses rather than annihilating and, and annihilating them. The function of digital and physical channels is proving more powerful than either one alone. That accounts in part for why E-Trade has invested in physical branches and why retailers such as Warby Parker and Bonobos have launched physical stores. These patterns, these patterns demonstrate that there are many ways to succeed by delivering various kinds of value. Amazon expanded functional excellence in a mass market. Apple excels on 11 elements in the pyramid, several of them high up, which allows the company to charge premium prices. Tom's excels on 4 elements, and one of them is self transcendence, because the company gives away one pair of shoes to needy people for every pair bought by a customer. This appeals to a select group of people who care about carefully giving. Putting the elements to work. These patterns are intriguing in their own right, and they illuminate how some companies have chosen to navigate upheaval in their industries. Ultimately, however, the elements must prove their usefulness is solving challenges, particularly growing revenue. Companies can improve on the elements that form their core value, which will help send them apart from the competition and meet their customers' needs better. They also ju- ju- judiciously add elements to expand their value proposition without overhauling their products or services. Companies have begun to use our method in several practical ways, installing a hunt for value mentally in their employees. Although many successful entrepreneurs have instinctively found ways to deliver value as part of their innovation process. That becomes harder as companies grow. The leaders of most large organizations spend less time with customers, and innovation often slows. The elements can help them identify new value once again. Some companies have refined their product designs to deliver more elements. Vanguard, for instance, added a low-fee, partly automated advice platform to its core investment services in order to keep its clients better informed and, in many cases, to reduce risk. A chainsaw manufacturer that felt undif- undifferent differential use the elements of value to identify specific ways of making future products distinctive. It focuses on quality, defined as the result of using its products, saves time, and reduces cost. These three elements had the greatest effect on customer satisfaction and loyalty, and the company was able to build competitive advantage with them. Other companies have used the elements to identify where customers perceive strength and weakness. They start by understanding which elements are the most important for the industry and how they stack up on those relative to competitors. If a company trails in the crucial elements, it should improve on them before attempting to add new ones. A large customer bank found that although it fared relatively, relative, relatively well on avoids hateless and saves time, it did not score well on quality. The bank did extensive research into why its quality ratings were low and launched ini- initiatives initiatives to strengthen anti-fraud operations and enhance the mobile app experience. The broadest commercial potential of the elements of value model currently lies on developing new types of value to provide. Additions make the most sense when the organization can deliver them while using its current capabilities and making a reasonable investment, and when the elements align with the company's brand. Sometimes selecting an additional element is fairly straightforward. Acronyms and other software provides add cloud backup and storage services to reinforce their brand promises to of reduced risk for computer users. Another key element in cloud backup is provides access because users can reach their files from any computer, table, tablet, or smartphone connected to the Internet. Internet. It's not always so obvious which elements to add. However, one financial services company recognize, recognize that if it could attract more consumers to its retail banking business, it might be able to cross-sell insurance, investment advice, and other products. But how could it do that? That company arrived at the best answers through three largely qualitative research stage, followed by a fourth highly quantitative stage. Structured listening. Working with Bain, the company interviewed current and prospective customers across the United States, individually and in groups. The, the goal was to understand consumers' priorities for a checking account, their frustrations, com- their compromises, and their reasons for using multiple institutions for banking services. Ideation sessions. We then use the elements to explore where improvements in value might resonate with consumers. Brain survey data had identified the elements that tend to reinforce customers' advocacy in consumer banking. Among them provides access, heirloom, and reduces anxiety. Those insights, combined with the consumer research, inform ideation sessions with a project team consisting of people from all customers touching departments across the bank, not just marketers. The section explore which element might be used to form the nucleus of a new offering. For example, provides access and connects health appeal because the bank might be able to provide access to mutual funds or connect consumers with financial planners. In the end, however, the team decided that neither element was feasible in this business, primarily for reason of cost. Instead, it developed 12 checking account concepts that were built around reduces cost, makes money, and reduces anxiety. Reduces cost highlight low fees, while reduces anxiety emphasize automatically savings. Reduces anxiety was particularly important because most of the target customers were living paycheck to paycheck and struggling to save money. Customers centric design of prototype concepts. Each concept approved by the project team contained a different mix of product features, fits, and levels of customer service. Many of these new concepts could be delivered through an improved smartphone app that will increase customers' engagement with the bank. Almost all the target consumers use a smartphone for financial services, consistent with our earlier observation of the many elements of value delivered by these devices. No other elements can make up for a significant on quality. The financial services company then conducted further one-on-one interviews with consumers and got fast feedback that allowed to win now the 12 prototypes down to 4 concepts for enhanced value. Then, on the basics of the feedback, it re- refined then in fourth, quantitative stage, rigorous choice modeling. Having designed for 4 prototypes, the project team tested them with thousands of consumers using discrete choice analysis, which requires people to make a sequence of explicit choices when presented with a series of product options. The researchers began by amassing a detailed list of the attributes for each prototype: ATM feeds, overdraw feeds, credit monitoring, consumer service hours, and so on. They presented respondents with several sets of checking accounts that varied on these attributes, asking them to select which prototype from each set they preferred. This process was repeated several times. At- Attributes change according to an experimental design until the team derived the winning combination of attributes. To clear finalists emerge, which the bank recently launched in the marketplace. It will use customers' demographics and the increase in demand to gauge the eventual winner. Getting started. The elements of value work best when a company's leader recognize recognize them as a growth opportunity and make value a priority. It should be at least as important as a cost management, pricing, and customer loyalty. Companies can establish a discipline around improving value in some key areas. New product development. Our model can stimulate ideas for new products and for elements to add to existing products. Managers might ask, for example, can we connect in a new way with consumers? Can our consumers benefit from integration with other software applications? Can we add therapeutic value to our service? Pricing. Managers commonly view pricing as one of the most important levers in demand management because when demand is constant, higher prices accrue directly to profits. But higher prices also change the consumer value equation. So, any discussion about raising prices should consider the addition of value elements. Recall how Amazon's judicious increases in value helped justify higher prices over time. Consumers segmentation. Most companies have a formal method of segmenting their customers into demographic and behavioral groups, which presents an opportunity to analyze what each of these groups values and then develop products and services that deliver those elements. Whenever an occasion to improve value presents itself, managers should start with a survey of current customers and likely prospects to learn where the company stands on the elements it is or is not delivering. The survey should cover both product and brand because examinations of the too many yield different insights. For example, the product itself may deliver lots of value, whereas customers have difficulty getting service or technical support. The elements of value have an organizational dimension as well. Someone in the company should be tapped to explicitly think about, manage, and monitor value. One paid TV executive lamenting the success of Netflix told us, I have a lot of people working on product features and service improvements, but I don't have anyone really thinking about consumer value elements in a holistic manner. The concept of value remains rooted in psychology, but the elements of value can make it much less amorphous and mysterious. Abraham Maslow emphasized the bold, confident, positive potential of psychology. The elements can help managers creatively add value to their brand, products, and services, and thereby gain an edge with consumers. The two arbiters of value. Bueno, este artículo nos habla de el valor que las empresas le, le pueden dar a sus productos y a la empresa como tal para tener como una mejor presentación entre los consumidores. Entonces se mencionan pues como los diferentes tipos de valores que hay y el método pues que estos están utilizando para medir todos estos tipos de factores que pueden afectar en si la gente considera que el producto tiene valor o no, el producto o la empresa tienen valor o no. También nos muestra que se han encontrado como una jerarquía de, de, de estos valores, de este valor de que los clientes encuentran más importante. Pero nos menciona que en un inicio, pues se supone que se debería comenzar. Nos hablan de que estos están organizados en una pirámide y nos dicen que en un inicio, pues se supone que deberían de comenzar desde abajo, desde la base, para llegar hasta arriba, pero no en todas las ocasiones se da ese escenario porque muchos pueden comenzar desde arriba y no le dan como mucha importancia a lo de abajo. Crear, y nos dicen pues que crear valor es muy importante para la empresa y también que es muy importante tener en cuenta lo que el consumidor quiere y lo que el consumidor necesita.